Hello and welcome to my Pre-Algebra review series. This video covers Chapter 1, Section 6, titled Subtracting Integers. By the end of this video, you will have reviewed the procedures for using models to subtract integers and using rules to subtract integers. Please leave a like if you find this video to be helpful. Give your classmates a heads up too. It will more than likely help them, and it certainly will help this channel to be seen by more students. If you would like me to cover any of these topics in greater detail, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I read them and do my best to address each as time permits. Please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon to be notified every time I release a new video. Thank you. Let's subtract some integers. Okay, Objective 1. Using models to subtract integers. You can use tiles to help you understand subtraction of integers. Example 1. Using tiles to subtract integers. Find -6 minus a -2. Well, the red tiles, as you recall, we've used those as negative tiles. So start with 6 negative tiles. You see the 6 negative tiles? Here we are, right here, 6 negative tiles, right here. Okay, so then it says take away 2 negative tiles. Therefore, there are how many left? So if we take away 2, right here in the yellow, we're going to take away 2. How many negative tiles are left? We're left with 4, right there. So you start with 6, take away 2 negative tiles. So that's what this is. Start with, right here, start with -6 tiles, and then take away 2 of them. 2 of the negative tiles. And that's what we did here, okay? And now for example 1, we get to do a few of these for ourselves. Now we're going to start with problem A. We're starting with 7 negative tiles, and we're going to take away 2 negative tiles. So as we did on the previous slide, we start with 7, right here, 7 negative tiles. And then here we're going to take away 2 of the negative tiles, and we're left with how many remaining? 5. So there's -7 tiles minus 2 of them. Take away 2 of them, and we end up with 5. How about B? Start with -4 negative tiles, and subtract how many? 3 of them. So we start with 4 over here, and we're going to subtract 3. And what we're left with is 1 negative tile. Do the same thing here for problem C. We're going to start with 8, and we're going to subtract 5 negatives. So we have 8 right here, 8 negative tiles, and we're going to subtract 5 of them. Here they are, 5. We're going to take away these 5 negative tiles. And what are we left with? We're left with 3. So -8 minus -5 is 3 negative tiles. -3 is the answer. Okay, so if we looked at that, going back to A, we would have the answer would be -5. And for B, the answer would be -1. And for C, the answer would be -3. Okay, for example 2, we're going to be using 0 pairs to subtract integers. Remember what a 0 pair is? A 0 pair is opposites, a pair of opposites, the positive and the negative. So a 0 pair would be +1 and a -1. So you can add +1 and -1 to any expression, and it doesn't change it because you're adding 0. But in doing so, you'll see what happens by doing it here in here. So it says find 3 minus 5. So as it says, we start with 3. 3 is positive. 3 right here is a positive number. Okay, so we're going to start with 3 yellow tiles, 3 positive tiles. And then we want to subtract 5. We want to subtract, but then we don't have 5 to subtract from. So we have to add some so that we can get to 5. In order to do that, we're going to add 0 pairs. We're going to add 1, 2 0 pairs. But in adding these 0 pairs, we're adding a plus and a plus. So now when we do this, we end up putting these together. We're going to have 5 positive right here, our minus 5 plus tiles. So now we have the 5 plus tiles. But in doing this, what did we end up with? Down here we put them all together. We have the 5 plus tiles that we can subtract out. And what's left? 2 negative tiles. So the answer, 3 minus 5, is equal to negative 2. Okay, for example 2, a little check your understanding. We have 2 problems here. A says 4 positive tiles, 4 yellow tiles, minus 8 is, well, it's equal to what? It is plus 4, or 4 positive tiles, plus negative 8 tiles. So we're going to start with 4 positive tiles, and we're going to add 8 negative tiles. So here's where we're starting with our problem. Here's where we're starting, right here with our 4 positive tiles. And we're going to, after we add the 8, here's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to add these together. So we're going to add the negative because we don't have enough. We got to add more to it to get to this final number. So then what do? Once we add these, we end up with 0 pairs. We end up with 4 0 pairs. Those 0 pairs cancel each other out. Plus 1 and negative 1. They're opposites. They create 0. And what's remaining? Right here. 4 negative tiles. The answer here is negative 4. Let's do B. We're going to start with 1 negative tile. Negative 1 minus 5. Well, I'm going to rewrite it. So we have a negative 1 plus negative 5 tiles. So we get a plus sign, right? So we're getting the plus by adding this. We did it in both of these. We got the plus sign right here. So now we take the 1 that we start with. It's red. It's 1 negative tile. And we're going to add 5 more negative tiles. Right here, 5 more. We're adding that to it. And when we do that, we're going to add these together. What we're going to get? We're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to end up with the results in 6 negative tiles. So the answer here would be negative 6. Okay, still for example 2, checking our understanding. This is a continuation slide from the previous slide. We use tiles to find each difference. So in this problem here, C, we're going to take negative 2 tiles minus negative 7. Well, it's better. We don't have that many tiles floating around in our problem, so we have to add some tiles. So I'm going to convert this negative 2 right here, this negative 2, I'm going to convert it equal to negative 2 plus 7. And we do that by multiplying a negative here by a negative there, and those two turn to a positive. So negative 2 plus 7. So that's what our new equation is right here. Negative 2 plus 7. So here we start with negative 2 tiles, and then we add to it 7 positive tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We add them all together, and we end up with this configuration here, which thus forms, once we do that, we end up forming 2 0 pairs. And we know a 0 pair is a negative 1 and a positive 1, and a 0 pair equals 0. So these, in essence, cancel out. They're gone. Cancel, cancel. And what are we remaining with? We'll remain with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive. So the answer to this question is going to be plus 5. 5 positive tiles. Oh, I can't spell tiles apparently. Oops, come on, where's my ink? Here we go. T-I-L-E-S, tiles. Okay? Okay, objective 2 says we're going to use rules to subtract integers. You can use models to show the relationship between adding and subtracting integers. So here we have two pictures basically of the same equation. It starts off for it right here with 5 right here, excuse me, 5, it's a positive 5 plus a negative 4. And so what do we have here? We're taking a look at the picture. It's positive 5 tiles, 5 yellow tiles, plus 4 negatives. Okay, well, when we add these together, we end up getting these 0 pairs right here. A positive and a negative, a positive and negative, a positive, negative, and a positive. That's 4 0 pairs. Those 4 0 pairs end up leaving, when you click these together, they end up leaving one, right here, 1 tile. Over on this one here, we started with 5 tiles, and it just says 5 minus 4. So you have 5, and you gather 4 of them up and take them away. And when you do that, you end up with 1 tile remaining. And these two are the exact same answer. This is showing it where you have negative tiles to offset the positive tiles. This is just showing we're going to take them away. You've got 5 apples, I'm taking 4 of them. Okay? Both 5 plus a negative 4 and 5 minus 4 equal 1. So 5 plus 4 plus minus 4 is equal to 5 minus 4. So this plus minus ends up being negative in this case. Okay? Okay, objective 2, using rule to subtract integers. The model suggests the following rule for subtracting integers. The models we were playing with earlier in the earlier slides. So, subtracting integers. To subtract an integer, add its opposite. So, here's the examples. Arithmetically, if you were talking about straight arithmetic, which is numbers, integers, we have 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is equal to 2 plus a negative 5. 2 plus negative 5. 2 plus negative 5 ends up being negative 3. Remember we did the 0 pairs. You put a 0 and a positive, 0 pairs together, you get 2 positives and 2 negatives. What's left is 3 negatives. There it is, 3 negatives right there. Or you could say 2 positives minus a negative. 2 minus negative 5. And that is equal to 2 plus. So we're going to add its opposite. To subtract an integer, add its opposite. And in both cases, we're adding an opposite. Right here. So here's the 5, and we're going to add its opposite. Negative 5, we're going to add a positive 5. Algebraically, it says a minus b is equal to a plus a negative b. A minus b is equal to a plus a negative b. Same as arithmetic. A minus a negative b is equal to a plus b. Okay? Okay, example 3. It's a real-world problem. So, it's a weather problem. In January of 1916, the temperature in Browning, Montana dropped 100 degrees overnight. That's pretty amazing. The initial temperature was 44 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the final temperature? Okay. So what are we going to do? We're going to start off with 44. We have 44. That's the initial temperature where we started was 44. And overnight it dropped 100 degrees. So that means they subtracted 100 degrees from 44. Well, obviously, it seems to have gone negative, I think. So this is writing the expression. So how are we going to look? Well, let's look at this. So it's 44 minus 100, and that is equal to 44 plus a negative 100. To subtract 110, you add its opposite. The answer ends up being negative 56. Well, if you remember the 0 pairs, we've got 100 negatives and 44 positives. Well, those 0 pair out with 44 of these 100, and what's remaining is 56. Well, but they're the negative 100, right? They're the red tiles, so to speak. So what's remaining is 56 red tiles, or minus 56. So the final temperature was negative 59 degrees. Right here, negative 59 degrees. Okay, example 3, check your understanding. Problem A, 32 minus a minus 3, according to our rule, can be rewritten, or should be rewritten as 32 plus 3, because these two negatives create a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. And that answer then will be 35. So you see this combination here, it's pretty straightforward. This one here with the negatives, we're going to, again, they're negative, both are negative. And as long as they're the same, we're kind of okay with it. So we're going to say minus 40 minus 66 is equal to, we treat these as if addition. We add the two numbers. So it's 66 plus 40, or however you want to add it up, is equal to 106. And since it's both are negative, the sign here is negative. It becomes a negative number. So you just, when they're both negatives, two negatives add together, you just add the numbers and take the sign negative. If it was two positive numbers, you would add them together and take the sign also. It'd be a positive number. Okay, and for C, we have 2 minus 48. 2 minus 48. In this case, we have two opposite. We have a positive 2 and a negative 48. So according to our rule, it says to take the absolute value of a negative 48 minus the absolute value of 2. And what does that equal to? Well, the absolute value of minus 48 is 48 minus 2 is the absolute value of 2. 2, and that equals 48 minus 2 is 46. And then we go back up and we take the sign of the largest number. And the largest number is 48, so the answer is negative 46. Let's see if we can do this one. The moon temperature last recorded was minus 170 degrees Celsius. And the temperature in the Antarctic was negative 89 degrees. Okay. Well, they want us to find the difference, so they want us to subtract. Minus 170 minus a minus 89. They want us to subtract that number. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 170 minus 170, and these two negatives become a positive, plus 89 equals something. Okay, equals. Well, when you have opposite numbers, we're going to take the absolute value. Okay, so we're going to say the absolute value of 170 minus the absolute value of 89 is equal to 170 plus or minus 89. And when you subtract these, you're going to end up with 81. And 80. Then you take the sign. So now, since we've done this, we have to take the sign of the largest number. And the largest number here is negative 170. So it's 170 minus. So it becomes minus 81. And we'll say degrees Celsius because they're talking about degrees Celsius up here. Yeah, I think they got it.